Greetings, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about when the leader has problems. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the 11th year of the Leadership Japan series. And I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and three-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. My new book, Stop Wasting Money on Training in Japanese, is Training de Okane o Muru ni suru no wa yamimashou. And all of my books are available on Amazon. This podcast brings insights, examples, and experience about leading in Japan. Trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentation Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oishia Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is maybe. If ever we have to say maybe, we can just say tabun ne. If the friend asks us, hey, do you think you'll be free for lunch today at 1 o'clock? We can just say maybe. We can just say tabun ne. Tabun ne. Tabun ne. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Tabun ne. Tabun ne. Tabun ne. This is episode number 524. Today we're talking about dealing with problems as the leader. Some problems are relatively difficult and can be fixed, ignored, or coped with. Others are more substantial and can place the entire enterprise at risk. COVID certainly struck some industries harder than others, and we have seen many venerable establishments disappear. The Japanese government wisely made low-interest loans available to many companies on the basis that keeping the doors open and the staff employed would be a better outcome for the economy. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, the Australian government pumped money into the economy and the country sailed through that crisis unscathed. This works at the macro level, but what about what is going on inside the organisations? Staff realise that business is bad, and they become concerned about the ability of the organisation to survive. When something like COVID affects the whole industry, there may be no real alternatives for those staff thinking of leaving. A case of, am I jumping out of the frying pan into the fire? What should the leader do though? Is transparency about the actual financial situation the right move? Will a clearer knowledge of how bad things are spur the team on to work harder? Or will they collapse into lethargy, as nothing seems or will make a difference because things are so bad? This is a broad stereotype, but in Japan, staff are loyal and willing to work hard to preserve the enterprise. I believe transparency is a good idea up to a certain point. It must be matched with a solid communication package of hope to go with it. The boss must be upbeat no matter how depressed they are about the financial situation. They cannot share those feelings with anyone. Even your spouse or partner has to be kept in the dark about how you are really feeling. That may sound like bad marital advice, but scaring the family about the security of the family source of income doubles the stress levels. Somehow, the boss has to be positive in every environment, no matter how dark their feeling or their sense of doom and gloom. Exhortations to work harder is a fine thing for the boss to disseminate to the team, but That won't be enough. The team needs a plan of action. Actually, they need to be told about plans A, B, and C. They also need to see these plans are being rolled out, and they need to be kept up to date on progress, no matter how humble. Preserving cash has to be the number one goal. Cash is not king, as we often hear. That designation only applies when things are going well. In bad times, cash is oxygen. We can last quite a long time with just water, but only a few minutes without oxygen, and so that is the better metaphor. There may be a call to be made over how transparent the boss is about the financial situation. Explaining the current profit and loss situation is one level of transparency. Revealing the cash burn rate and the cash reserve situation is another entirely different level of openness. I don't have a good answer on this one because it will depend on so many things. How much cash is left and how severe is the burn rate? What is the revenue forecast for the coming months? What monies can we stop paying for a while until things get better? Find out more when we come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do these in both Japanese and English. We do them face-to-face in our super safe classroom, and we do them live online. Okay, today's show is being brought to you by, on the 19th of July, we've got a one-day program on time management. On the 20th, we're doing excellent presentations. On the 22nd, we're doing our Dale Carnegie course, that's our flagship program. On the 26th, we're doing the Secrets of Human Relations. Go to our website at www.dale, D-A-L-E, -Carnegie, CARNEGIE.co.jp. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, which in Japanese is Zaegyo. This is the Bible for selling in Japan. Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muru ni Sunu wa Yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. If you like learning by watching videos, we have nearly 2,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show on Japan every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show, and on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from small, medium enterprises all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. The danger is when some sectors in the industry recover faster than yours, or when other industries are hiring and there are escape routes for those team members worried about the firm's longevity. This is when the communication skills of the leader are really tested. Explaining that there is a future for the business and that this too will pass becomes critical for keeping people on board. There's a delicate balance between expressing a strong sense of urgency without it beginning to sound like panic. That is the needle we have to thread as leaders. Be realistic but upbeat, open but not gloomy. All of this has to be done against the background of sleepless nights and constant worries about the collapse of the enterprise. The key is to protect our mental health. We need to be directly working on managing our stress and inserting positive messages into our brain. The negative messages, they'll find their way there in on their own without us helping them. So we need to accentuate the positive as a counterbalance. We need to read positive text and work on conditioning our brain to have hope and belief that we can pull through this period of turmoil. Listening to positive motivational messages is a good thing to be doing, so we need to find those authors and then pump that good stuff into our mind. None of these are instant fixes, but they will rally our hopes, change our perspectives, and coalesce our strengths for the fight. One of the simplest tools is a 3-part analysis. 1, very carefully clarify in minute detail what is the worst thing which could happen. Number 2, Stop kidding yourself and accept that the worst will happen and you cannot stop it. Number 3, try to find as many ways as possible to improve on the worst case scenario. Again, there's no panacea here. What we can do is switch our mental framework from falling apart while facing oblivion to forging some degree of hope. We have to look for how to survive the looming apocalyptic meltdown. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then tell your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. You can contact me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Our website is www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Until the next episode, take what you thought valuable, put it into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. So be one of them. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.